You know, in the royal families of Europe, it's not very common to see former spouses who genuinely wish each other happiness and keep warm relations after a divorce. But the story of Prince Joachim and Countess Alexandra of Frederiksborg is one of those rare cases where love transformed into mutual respect and a friendship that has lasted for 2 decades since their separation. And now, as 30 years have passed since the young woman from Hong Kong first set foot on Danish soil, this story sounds especially touching. And just think about it. Isn't it remarkable that in a world where loud breakups often become tabloid fodder, someone chooses the path of dignity and warmth? 30 years ago, Alexandra Christina Manley made an incredible decision to leave her familiar life in Hong Kong for the sake of love for a Danish prince. On the 18th of November, 1995, their grand wedding took place in the chapel of Frederiksborg Castle with the entire European royal elite in attendance. And what stood out the most to the bride? Snow. Yes, snow. Something that felt truly magical for a woman from Hong Kong where seasons hardly change. Alexandra admitted in a recent interview with Danish television that she was incredibly happy to show her friends and family that fairy tale winter scenery on her wedding day. How could anyone forget moments like that? It was as if nature itself wanted to be part of their story. Their marriage lasted about 10 years, and during that time, they welcomed 2 sons, Count Nikolai, who is now 26, and 23-year-old Count Felix. When their divorce became final on the 8th of April 2005, it was the first divorce in the Danish royal family in 150 years. One might have expected some kind of dramatic scandal, the kind tabloids love to sensationalize. But nothing of the sort happened. And this is where it gets truly interesting. Why? What helped them go through such a difficult step with so much calm and dignity? And is there something we can learn from them? In her recent interview with national television, 61-year-old Alexandra shared the philosophy that helped her and Joachim maintain a harmonious relationship. Her words sound simple, yet they hold enormous wisdom. If you sincerely wish each other well, a divorce becomes much easier. According to her, she and the prince value each other greatly, and it's not something they had to work on, it just exists. And indeed, when you look at photographs of this unusual family at important events, for example, when Count Felix received his high school diploma, you don't see forced smiles for the press. You see genuine warmth between people who were once spouses and are now good friends and devoted parents to 2 wonderful young men. And in those moments, you can't help but wonder, is this what true maturity looks like? It is especially touching how the Countess talks about Queen Margrethe's gesture of granting her the title Countess of Frederiksborg after the divorce. With this, the Queen showed that Alexandra remained part of the family, and the decision filled the Countess's heart with gratitude and happiness. It must be said that 85-year-old Margrethe has always been known for her wisdom and ability to see what truly matters. She understood that Alexandra is the mother of her grandchildren, and that keeping good family relations is far more important than strictly following protocol. Not every monarch is capable of such a gesture, wouldn't you agree? But perhaps that's exactly why Margrethe is so respected, for placing humanity above ceremony. Today, Alexandra is a successful businesswoman and, interestingly, has recently become an influential figure on social media. Life moves forward, and the former Princess of Denmark has found her own path beyond royal walls while staying close to the family. By the way, her very first public appearance after the engagement announcement on the 31st of May, 1995, left a strong impression on her as well. The young couple stepped out before a huge number of journalists, and naturally, most of the questions were directed at her. Alexandra admitted it was a little overwhelming, but at the same time, wonderful. And here you start to wonder, what does it feel like to suddenly find yourself at the center of European royalty without any experience or preparation? And how much courage does it take to go through all of that with a smile? These stories remind us that royal families are, above all, people, with their joys, worries, and challenges. Yes, they live in grand palaces and wear tiaras, but in the end, love, respect, and family bonds matter just as much to them as they do to everyone else. The story of Alexandra and Joachim is especially telling. They proved that you can stop being spouses and still remain a family. Their sons see a real example of maturity and wisdom, parents who, despite their divorce, continue to support each other and show that former spouses can indeed be friends. And here is the main question. Isn't this the best legacy you can leave your children?